I don't recommend going to the gym for a lot of people, especially if you're just starting out. Because if the benefits of this one exercise could be put in a pill, it would be the greatest blockbuster medication of all time. And you can get it for free and you don't have to go to the gym to do it, which then removes a huge barrier for a lot of people. So in this video, I'm going to do a deep dive on exactly what that is. And make sure to stick around until the end because I'm also going to give you some advanced strategies to maximize your results. But first, let me give you some context that's really important to understand all of this. Nature Medicine recently published a groundbreaking study showing the effects of walking when it comes to preventing common diseases that plague a majority of the population in most Western and developed countries. Things like obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression, sleep apnea, and so much more. The average American takes 4 medications per day to treat these health problems. And what the researchers found involving over 390,000+ subjects, so this was not a small study, is that walking more than 8,200 steps per day to be exact, which is about an hour of purposeful walking, was significantly protective against these diseases of civilization. Like, have you ever been prescribed walking by your doctor? Imagine leaving your doctor's office if you have obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and so on, and your doctor said, hey, before I prescribe you another pill, get rid of the junk food and walk a minimum of 8,000 steps per day. So what the study of 390,000 people did was look at the step count data from different fitness trackers. They then created this amazing image that really shows the effect of walking more than 8,200 steps per day with these diseases of civilization. And there's a laundry list of them. Things like diabetes, hypertension, depression, gastrointestinal reflux disorder or GERD. There's inflammatory and toxic neuropathy, sleep apnea, shortness of breath, non-specific chest pain, chronic sinusitis, nausea and vomiting, obesity, and so much more. And what this Nature Medicine study showed is these diseases of civilization are linear and inversely correlated with the number of steps people take per day. Again, this is a big study of 390,000 people. And that's shown in this image here, the odds ratio of getting these health problems and the inverse log of the step count. You have to remember that we evolved to move as human beings. Otherwise, you'd be a tree. So the more steps you take per day, and now you see the minimum is 8,000 steps per day, the greater the odds are that you won't suffer from these alarmingly common health problems. What a trade-off. This should be breaking news. You have to remember that being healthy is our default factory setting as human beings. The human body is self-healing. A lot of people are under the impression that when it comes to preventing disease and improving their health, there's usually a cost associated with it. You have to sign up for a gym membership, buy this fancy exercise machine. You have to buy a sauna or a cold plunge tub or this expensive supplement. All those things are great, by the way. There's a time and place for them. But a lot of it simply isn't accessible for the average person, which makes a lot of people feel hopeless. Guess what? Walking is absolutely free. You can do it with a walking buddy or your partner for some accountability, or you can do it with your kid and teach them the importance of health. Then set a goal of getting at least 8,200 steps per day. This is why I don't recommend going to the gym for a lot of people that are just starting out their health and fitness journey. You need to establish a consistent walking routine first. This is the lowest hanging fruit. So the million-dollar question is, can you use something as simple as walking to solve a lot of your health problems? Based on this research, you can. Or at the very least, drastically improve your health condition. It almost sounds too good to be true, but we now have data that proves it. According to the study, the relationship between step counts and incident disease was inverse and linear for obesity, sleep apnea, GERD, and depression, with the lowest risk of each diagnosis at higher step counts. So if you've been diagnosed with diabetes, hypertension, and obesity, which all kind of go hand in hand, by the way. It's like opening Pandora's box. Walking 8,000 steps per day, along with improving your diet, obviously, should be the top 2 things you should prioritize. You have complete agency over your health. Again, this is all based on this Nature Medicine study. There's a linear and inverse correlation between disease and step count. For example, in comparison with median step count, the risk for obesity declined by 31% when steps were increased to 10,000 per day. A lot of well-meaning people are conned into buying ridiculously expensive detoxes, fat burners, slimming teas, diet drinks, which are all scams, by the way. Like, you might as well light your money on fire. Or you can cut your risk of obesity by 31% by walking 10,000 steps per day. Now, getting your minimum effective dose of 8,200 steps per day, which roughly translates to about an hour of purposeful walking, doesn't have to be done all at once, by the way. In fact, it's actually better if you spread it out throughout the day. You can go for a 15-minute walk first thing in the morning, which has the added benefit of regulating your sleep when you expose your eyes to morning sunlight, so don't wear sunglasses. And then go for a 15-minute walk after every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That should easily land you anywhere between 8 to 10,000 steps per day. But as with a lot of things, nuance matters. The intensity of the walk absolutely makes a difference. According to the researchers, daily step counts and intensity, defined as a step per minute threshold that indicates slow walking, are positively correlated with various diseases. We observed a gradient of higher disease risk at the intersection of low daily step counts and lower bout cadence quartiles compared with higher daily step counts and higher bout cadence. What that means is walking intensity matters. As always, there are levels. Slow walking is better than no walking, obviously, but try to walk with purpose. Maybe even walk up a hill. Better yet, and this is what I personally do, if you watch my YouTube shorts or follow me on Instagram, you'll know I do this every day. Carry a weighted backpack and turn walking into rucking to get in some much needed strength training. That's obviously more of an advanced strategy, but walking consistently and getting in those 8,200 daily step count is the most important thing. Speaking of walking intensity, you might think that maybe you should jog instead. Once a week? Sure. But you don't want to jog every day because it becomes too stressful to your body. You might even end up doing more harm than good. Just freaking walk. If you want to do more work, you can do bodyweight exercises or lift weights instead to build muscle. What's amazing is the findings from this Nature Medicine study corroborate with this NHANES study. The NHANES study quantified steps over a 7-day monitoring period and assessed mortality over a 10-year period. They found a 51% lower mortality in individuals who walk 8,000 steps per day compared with those who just walk for 4,000 steps per day. For context, the average American walks a measly 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. No wonder people are so unhealthy. Trying to name a drug that cuts mortality by 50%. I'll wait. I'll give you a hint. It doesn't exist. If you could find a pill that cuts mortality by 50%, it would be the single greatest blockbuster medication of all time. People would be lining up to take it. This is literally right at your fingertips. Everyone has access to walking. It's absolutely free. Again, anchor a 10 to 15 minute walk after a meal so you don't forget about it. In fact, a 15-minute walk after a meal can cut the blood sugar and insulin response by half. And the faster you can regulate blood glucose and insulin, the faster your body gets back into fat burning. If you need motivation, you can foster or adopt a dog so you have a walking buddy. You can also invest in a cheap smartwatch or pedometer to keep track of your steps. You can also just time yourself. 1 hour of purposeful walking spread throughout the day outside of your regular house routine should naturally land you in that 8 to 10,000 step ballpark. And it's not like you're miserable after going for a walk. You'll always feel better. It's because you trigger hope molecules in your body. That's actually a scientific term. Going back to the study, they identified consistent and statistically significant associations between activity levels and incident diabetes, hypertension, GERD, depression, obesity, and sleep apnea. Taking more steps each day was related to lower risk of developing these chronic diseases. Higher step counts were associated with protection from obesity in a high-risk population. These are people that have a BMI between 25 and 29. In short, walking is medicine. So try to organize your life to make sure you get in at least 8,200 steps per day minimum. Having said all of that, you can't outwalk a bad diet if you're trying to lose stubborn fat. If you want to maximize the health benefits of walking and optimize body composition, you need to pair it with a proper diet. You have two options. First, if you just want my help when it comes to providing you a shortcut through all the trial and error, tap into over a decade of my coaching experience helping hundreds of people achieve their fat loss goals. You can book a free consultation to join my Fat Loss Accelerator VIP program by clicking the link in the description and comments below. You can also check out this video. And always remember, it's not about the weight you lose, it's about the life you gain.